Hello, everybody. This is What's Up with Giancarlo. And today we are going over 6.2 one-step equations with rational coefficients. We will be allowed to use calculators for this. Not that they are needed, but whatever. So, one-step equations. You have written and solved one-step equations involving whole numbers. Now you will learn to work with equations containing negative numbers. Example 1, use inverse operations to solve each equation. Class, you need to remember they will give you an expression, x plus 3.2 equals negative 8.5. So, I need my variable by itself. So I need to get rid of any number near it. So to get rid of the number near my x, so I can get x all by itself, I have to do the opposite of what's there. If I have a positive 3.2, I have to subtract 3.2 to get rid of it, because 3.2 minus 3.2 is 0. So now I just have x all by itself on this side. But whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I must do it to the other. Okay? So I'm going to subtract 3.2 to this side. So remember, when we have two negatives, we're really adding them. So I've got negative 8.5 plus negative 3.2. All right? So decimal comes down. 2 and 5 is 7. 3 and 8 is 11. And they're both negative, so it stays negative. So my answer is x equals negative 11.7. Okay? That is it. That is how much x equals. If you plug in negative 11.7 for x, you will do negative 11.7 plus 3.2, and that will equal negative 8.5. And that's how you know you did it correctly. All right? So, negative 2/3 plus y equals 8. I need my variable alone. So I need to get rid of the number next to it. It is negative, so I must add to get rid of it. Okay? So that's the left side of the equal sign. So I did it to that side. I must do it to this side. So I'm just going to add that on. That's all that is. It's 8, the whole number, and then you just add the fraction on. It's 8 2/3. Nothing to worry about right there. All right, now we've got 30 equals negative 0.5a. So my variable is attached to this negative 0.5, okay? When they are attached, when there is no sign in between them, that means multiplication, okay? The opposite of multiplication is division. I would have to divide to get rid of this negative 0.5. So I am going to divide it by negative 0.5. And when you divide a number by the exact same number, it turns into a 1. Okay? So this is 1a. We don't need to put the 1, but if it helps you, whatever. Okay? But me personally, I just know the 1 is there. So it's a, and then you have to do it to this side. 30 divided by negative 0.5, like they say, you put it in your calculator, negative 60. Okay? And then we've got one more. I don't want to use Q, so I'm I'm doing this problem, but I'm just putting x instead of q. X over 3.5 equals 9.2. I need to get rid of this number. This is division, x divided by 3.5. Is it, okay, negative. It's negative x times 3.5. So to get rid of this number and the negative sign, I am going to multiply because multiplying is the opposite of division. So I'm going to multiply by negative 3.5, multiply this side also. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So this is a 3.5. I just don't have enough space to write it out. So those will cancel each other because it would really be negative 3.5x over negative 3.5, and then they would cancel out and make 1. So I get x equals, when I multiply these on my calculator, which I would, since it's a negative, I would put parentheses around this because I don't want to get mixed up and say it's minus 3.5. So multiplying, I get negative 32.2. All right? If you have any questions, put it in the comments, send me an email if you can, whatever. Here's a your turn. 3, pause it now. 3, 2, 1. Here's your answer and how to work it out. We need to get the variable alone. This is positive, so we will subtract it. We have to do it on this side also. We will add the negatives together to get negative 13.9 equals z. Z equals negative 13.9. Pause it, work it out yourself. 3, 2, 1. We need to get the variable by itself. This is a negative 17.1 because it's subtracting. So I'm going to add 17.1 to both sides. Okay? When you have a negative and a positive, I'm going to subtract the smaller number from the bigger number. And then I keep the sign of the bigger number. So really, what I'm going to do is 17.1 minus 4.8. That becomes 6. That becomes an 11. I get a 3 there. I get my decimal right there. I get a 2. I get a 1. Since the positive number is the bigger number, it stays positive. Okay? Pause it right now. 3, 2, 1. So this is multiplication. To solve it, we are going to have to divide. Okay? We have to divide negative 3c by negative 3, and that will give me c all alone because the negative 3's will turn into 1. So it's 1c, but really we just put c. Then we divide this side by negative 3. All right? And we end up getting negative 12. This is how you work it out. Writing and solving one-step addition and subtraction equations. Negative numbers often appear in real-world situations. For example, elevations below sea level are represented by negative numbers. When you increase your elevation, you are moving in a positive direction. When you decrease your elevation, you are moving in a negative direction. Okay, class. Sea level is counted as 0. Okay? So therefore, if you are above sea level, you are positive. If you are below sea level, you are negative. The deeper you go, the farther down or / deeper you go, the number will be higher, but it will be negative. So it'll be smaller. Okay? You'll go from -1 to -2, and you're going lower and lower. Let's look at this example. So, a scuba diver is exploring at an elevation of -12.2 meters. So they're saying the diver's already there. The diver is already at negative 12.2 meters, okay? Let me fix that. I don't like how it looks. The diver is already at 12.2 meters, okay? Negative 12.2, because he's below the surface. As the diver rises to the surface, we know that's adding. She plans to stop and rest briefly at a reef that has an elevation of negative 4.55. So we don't know how much they're going up, but they are going up a certain amount, and they will stop at negative 4.55. So negative 12.2 plus x, they are going up. That's why it is a plus. They are going positive, and they are taking a rest briefly at a reef that has an elevation of negative 4.55. That is where they are stopping and taking a rest. Okay? So therefore it equals that amount. So now we need to solve it. We wrote it, now we solve it. We need the variable by itself, so we are getting rid of the number next to it. Since this number is a negative, we will be adding the 12.2. That equals 0. So we did it to the left side, we must do it to the right side. So class, since it's a positive and a negative, I will subtract this is a lame one. You guys can just do it in your calculator or whatever. I got to cross out this one, make it a 0. I got to cross out this 12, make that a 12. And then I have to cross it out, make it an 11. Then this becomes a 12. Then I have to cross that out and make it an 11. Then this becomes a 10. So 10 minus 5 is 5. 11 minus 5 is 6. Decimal comes down. 11 minus 4 is 7. So my answer would be 7.65 because it stays positive because the bigger number is positive. So when she starts out at negative 12.2, she goes up 7.65 meters to stop and rest briefly at negative 4.55 meters. Okay? An airplane descends. Descends means it's going down. Okay? An airplane descends to an elevation of 5.25. So it's at X. It goes down 1.5 miles. And then once we go down 1.5 miles, once the airplane goes down 1.5 miles, it will be at 5.25 miles. Find the elevation of the plane before its descent. We don't know what that is, so we have to find it. The first step is writing your equation, okay? Now we solve this. I add 1.5. I hate that. I hate that so much when it does that. So I'm going to rewrite it up here. Minus 1.5 equals 5.25. So this is subtraction, so I'm going to add it to both sides. Because this is the left side, I have to do it to the right side of the equal sign. 1.5. So we know that's a negative 1.5. We know that's a negative 1.5, so adding 1.5 will get you 0. So we just have x left all by itself on this side. And then we are adding this. So we have the 5 comes down, 2 plus 5 is 7. Decimal goes straight down, 1 plus 5 is 6. So my answer will be C, 6.7 miles. The elevation the plane was at before its descent was 6.75 miles. Bada bing, bada boom. So writing and solving one-step multiplication and division problems. Temperatures can be both positive and negative, and they can increase or decrease during a given period of time. A decrease in temperature is represented by a negative number. An increase in temperature is represented by a positive number. Example 3. Between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., the temperature decreases an average of 3/4 of a degree per hour. So when you see degree per hour, you're going to be multiplying the numbers. All right? How many minutes will it take for the temperature to decrease by 5 degrees? So it's decreasing, so we know we have a negative, and it's decreasing by negative by 3/4. Okay? Per hour. We don't know how many hours, so that's x. And we want to know how long it will take to decrease by 5. So -5. Okay? The hardest part about this math is figuring out your equation. Once you figure out your equation, you should know how to work it out. All right? So we work this out by multiplying by the reciprocal. It's flipped over. All right? 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. That's 1. Okay? And the negatives cancel positive. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. So they make a 1. So all I have is x here. Then I must multiply -5 times -4/3. And remember, this -5 is really over a 1. So -5 times -4 is 20. And then 1 times 3 is 3. All right? So they want us to convert the number of hours to minutes, because it's how many minutes will it take for the temperature. This is in hours. So to work that out, we have 20 over 3 hours. 20 over 3 hours. And then we would have to multiply it by 60 minutes to 1 hour. Okay? There are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So to work this out, I find it easier to cross simplify. So I can divide both of these by 3 to make it easier on myself. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 60 divided by 3 is 20. So when I multiply 20 times 20, I get 400. So 20 over 3 hours equals 400 minutes. Okay? That is how long it will take 400 minutes for the temperature to decrease by 5 degrees Fahrenheit. If you have any questions, please ask me or type in the comments, okay? The value of a share of stock decreases in value at a rate of $1.20 per hour during the first 3.5 hours of trading. Write and solve an equation to find the decrease in the value of the share of stock during that time. Okay? So, pause it right now. Do it yourself. 3, 2, 1. All right. So you start off at x, and it decreases at a rate of -120 per hour during the first 3.5 hours. So x divided by 3.5 will get you -1.2. Okay? So you solve it by multiplying. That makes it 3.5x over 3.5 to make it just x, because the 3.5s make 1. And then you would multiply -1.2 times 3.5. And when you solve that or type it in your calculator, you get negative 4.2. I can't write it in. It's being annoying, but negative 4.2. Okay? So the decrease in the value of the stock was $4.20. All right. So that's it for the lesson. Any questions, please type in the comments. You like the video, please like the video. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. And as you know, if you're watching, you're a part of the class.